I made a video on how to sell commissions, so I thought it wouldn't hurt to make one on the proper etiquette on buying them, because I think a lot of clients I've had in the past could really use it, and I also hear a lot of people who say they want to commission artists but don't really know how to or get stressed out communicating. So if that sounds like you, or you just feel like watching because why not, then I hope this helps you. Just know, these are based on my experiences and my opinions of things I think are important to commissioning someone. Everybody is different, my word isn't law, this is just advice. 1. Read all the commission information they have online before messaging them. A pet peeve of mine is when people ask me questions that are literally available on my website. Like, I've had people ask stuff like, how much does an icon cost, or how long is the turnaround? Or they ask to pay in a payment method that I don't accept, and this is annoying to me because all of those questions are answered already, and most artists are expecting that you've read their terms of service before you commissioned them. And when you ask questions like this, it can be unsettling for them because it shows that you didn't read any of it. If you can't find their website or their commission doc, a good opening would be to just ask them if they have one, and then read through carefully when they send it. If they don't have one, then you do have the green light to ask these questions. 2. Do not haggle or try to get more than you paid for. Crazy that I have to add this. If you ask for additional props, background elements, higher quality shading, or anything that wasn't specified to be part of a certain commission type, expect the artist to charge extra and do not get upset at them for doing so. These types of things will take the artist more time to do, so typically they will want more for it, and this is perfectly reasonable. Additionally, please do not argue over prices, including backhanded comments about them. If someone's prices are too much for you to afford or more than you would expect them to be, then just don't commission them. Don't make a big stink about it or complain to the artist because it's extremely rude and it comes off as very entitled. Artists do not owe it to you to adjust their prices so that you will like them. Their prices are based on what feels fair to them, not what feels fair to you. You do not know how much time and effort goes into someone else's art, so you really aren't the most well-suited person to judge what a fair price for their work should be. 3. Understand that commissions take time. Different artists take a different amount of time to draw. Sometimes an expected turnaround will be pre-written on a website or a doc. If they aren't, chances are it won't bother the artist if you ask about it. But please, do not spam them about your commission. Asking for occasional progress updates is absolutely okay, and in fact I encourage you to do so, especially if it has been a significant amount of time since you've commissioned them. But that requires you to understand what a significant amount of time actually is. To someone who hasn't commissioned an artist before, a week or 2 weeks might seem like a really long time to wait. But this is actually a very short amount of time to a majority of artists. But everyone is different and draws at a different rate. So again, look for an expected turnaround date or ask the artist what it is if you can't find one. Communication is so important. Typically, I would not ask for a progress update until they exceed this date. Definitely do not ask for an update in under a week of commissioning them, and never ask for daily updates, unless it has been such a ridiculous amount of time that they'd be scamming you to take any longer, or if they're, ghosting you. 4. Make your message as clear and as detailed as possible. I generally prefer it when people are clear about what they are looking for. That doesn't mean you have to tell me the exact expression or pose or anything, unless you want to. I don't mind when people say that they have no preferences about that kind of thing, and I even typically enjoy doing those commissions more because I have more flexibility. But just make it clear what type of commission you're buying, what character it's of, what accessories you want to include, if any, and things like that. You cannot get mad at an artist for not including something you wanted or not drawing something exactly how you wanted if you never specified beforehand. I've had a concerning amount of clients ask for changes after I finished the entire piece because something wasn't the way they wanted it to look, when the reference sheet they included never had that information on it, when I sent them a sketch and they said it was okay, and they never told me either. Artists usually do not like revisiting finished commissions unless they actually genuinely made a mistake. It's really annoying and difficult, and they also really don't owe those changes to you unless they left something out that you actually asked for. 5. Along with this, make your reference sheets clear. I'd assume most artists do not like drawing based off of words. I don't usually do commissions based off of a written description unless it's for a custom or for a friend. Reference sheets are expected by a majority of artists. It takes extra work for them to design a character for you, and it's also really hard to draw based off of a paragraph in comparison to an image they can just import into the canvas and work off of. If you're not an artist yourself and you don't know how to draw a reference sheet, that's okay. You can use a free use base online. There are so many of them. If you're unfamiliar with these, they're basically line art an artist drew that they give permission to the public to use for free and just fill in the colors. This is usually abbreviated as F2U or FTU. Look on DeviantArt or Toy House. There's tons there. A lot are even MS Paint friendly, so you could literally use the pre-downloaded art tool on your computer to fill them in, or you can just download a free one. Just make sure you read any rules that the artist specified for use and follow them. Your reference sheet doesn't have to include all the ins and outs of a character, but they should be specific enough so that the artist can draw off of it. Don't have huge watermarks that make it impossible for the artist to see the patterns or color pick the design, or at least send them an unwatermarked version if your reference sheet has huge watermarks on it. Do not use lossy image formats, as in JPEGs, or overly blurry, low-quality images. Your reference sheet should also be digital, not traditional. Though some artists are more flexible than others, just assume they're not to save their time and your own. 6. Do not communicate overly casually. This was hard to word because I don't want it to come off like artists will expect you to write them like you're emailing your teacher. They don't, usually. What I'm trying to say here is that a lot of artists will be uncomfortable if you're overly friendly. This doesn't include just being polite or respectful. This is more like wasting their time, being overly buddy-buddy, asking personal questions, or just being weird. It might seem strange why this might bother someone, but it does because artists get worried that you're trying to scam them or up to something or something like that. It can also make them feel like you don't value their time or aren't taking their work seriously. I personally much prefer it when a commissioner puts as much information as possible in their original message because it's easier for me to find it all when I'm working. Think about what you're buying carefully, write it out, and then send the message. Don't haphazardly commission someone and then follow up with all the details you realize you want afterwards or change the character multiple times. It's irritating for the commissioner and also very confusing to them. Obviously, if there is something that you forgot to include or it's just 1 or 2 follow-up messages, that's perfectly okay, but do not spam them. 7. Check and that an artist's commissions are, in fact, open. Some artists will specify this somewhere. Check if they did before asking. If they didn't, ask first. Sometimes artists are too busy to take commissions at a certain time for whatever reason, or are unable to take them. Or they might not even take commissions at all. No artist will be upset if you ask if their commissions are open, or when they expect their commissions might be open. Anyways, that's all I had for this video. If there's something that you thought of that I left out, just comment about it, or share your experiences with any of these mentioned points because they'd be fun to read, I think. And yeah. Sorry for the delayed art tips video again. This week was a bit chaotic, but I will get on it and hopefully have it out by next Saturday. I'll see you guys next time.